Yo, Bueller here again, here to do another TA routine video breaking down Tesla today. We're going to start with the bigger time frame as we always do, and then we're going to go down to the smaller time frame and break down how we get those levels. But today we're going to be starting on the monthly to get our levels to look at on the daily. I'm also going to show you another cool thing you can turn on if it really helps you out. Again, just starting with the merging candles, that's all we're adding so far. Pretty large range here between 95 and 166, I would say. So we're going to add that halfway point. If we really want to, we could add another here and another here, but I'm just going to move on, and if we think we need it, we'll go back and add it. See, it's pretty easy. Not really that hard. Just adding tops of green candles, as long as they're the first green candle to be there. And actually, on second thought, I think I am going to add these. This is very tedious, but trust me, it is needed. Remove. Go from the halfway point to that candle. Halfway point. We could maybe do one there. I definitely need one here. You know, I think I will. Oops. I think I will add this, because why not? Not really hurting me to do it. Doesn't take that much longer. I think that's good for now. We could definitely add one here, but price is way down here. We'll just focus on what's here. Down to the 6-month daily. And this is where you can really get some of your better analysis. Like, okay, there's definitely some support here. You know, price ended up opening way lower, breaking that new low, but they didn't even get to 100 yet, or even the next level at 95. 100, of course, is a psychological level. But you can see they ended up holding it. And I'm not saying this is a buyer signal, because all you have is a low, and then a new open, or a lower open, sorry, that makes that new high and holds into that same range again. So you have technically a almost triple bottom just by that sense. A double bottom if you really just want to be technical about it. But essentially, you're looking over this resistance, right? Because this is where price kind of stopped before, bounced, stopped, held, and then we had that lower open, and this is kind of where they had trouble again. So essentially, past 123, this was bullish. You ended up getting a good gap up over this, a good close. They had a little bit of a reset candle, which again, the only way to tell if this is a reset candle or not, which that didn't even mark right. Why isn't this marking right? Okay, well, we're trying to get the open to the close of this candle, and essentially you can see it didn't break the control point or the golden pocket, which essentially tells you this is a reset candle, not a pullback. If this would have pulled back below the golden pocket, there's a big chance you'd already have tested 123 that day or into the next day, which you can see either way. They ended up moving lower with the open lower, and a bit of a doji with lowering volume due to the previous day, but still holding this candle overall, the breakout candle, because this is the candle. Anytime you see the candle breaking above the level with volume, mark it if it helps you. But as you can see, though, price ended up doing a bullish kicker, just like we saw in the other example on Apple the other day. You can see the bullish kicker stepped in, and this actually helped Tesla get a bit more of a bullish reaction after finally building some base, bit of a retest to the side, and then the candle pops up. You get a retest of the candle, and then they just continue higher. And ever since then, we've been bullish on Tesla. But this is how you can really narrow down what you need to do. Again, telling the story of the chart like you just saw me do. Now, another thing that I haven't done in the other videos I don't want to show you guys is if you want to, you get out on the 9, the 21, and the 55 EMA. You can do the 100 and 200 as well for farther out EMAs, but this is just a good start for anybody wanting to get into this. But this is a really good way to go along with the price action levels, and essentially, just to keep it short, you look above the 9 EMA with rising volume. Above the 9 EMA, you target the 21. Above the 21, you target the 55, and so on and so on. In short, that's how that goes. But of course, it's a little bit different once you actually start to get into the trading. So we had that low, that base. We already talked about all this. Look how well it held the 9 EMA. Even though it started below it that day, it didn't break that level, and it ended up closing back over, showing that we are still bullish. We get a break above the 21, a little bit of a reset. They're battling in between it to see who has control. Next day is a bullish kicker. They definitely have control. They're above the 9 and the 21 with a bullish kicker after holding all of these different candles at that support. So really, really good start of momentum for bulls on Tesla. And you can see now they're just trying to hold the 55. There's probably the 100 and 200 right above their head now. But just to keep it simple, start with those three. This is a really good way you can use these on the bigger time frames to give you extra help. I don't like to use all of them on the smaller time frames. Sometimes I turn on the 9, but even really I haven't been a whole lot. If you guys join my streams, you know how much I've been turning those on. But now that we have the bigger time frame done, we can go down to the default and we can add all of our smaller time frame levels. And this is where things can get a little bit more tedious because we have a lot of gap ups over here. So we have current price about 174.92. So we're going to start down here. We're going to get some of our levels going. Actually, I don't have to start that level. We'll start here at 120. Emerging candle, emerging candle, emerging candle, emerging candle, emerging candle, emerging candle. Only thing now is to add some halfway points. Fill up those large ranges. We don't have to do one there because that range is too small, so we'll just leave it how it is. Remove. Another halfway point. And be sure to comment down below if there's a certain ticker that you haven't seen me done yet that you would like to see me do. I do have plans to do Caterpillar and Microsoft still. Maybe even Boeing. I think we had a few of them from chat the other day. That is not right. That's right. All right, remove drawing. And you can see we're at 160, so we're almost there to current price, but not quite. Just to triple check we're below that green candle. Okay, yeah, so that would be a bad candle to draw because it is higher than this level, but it's not higher than that red candle in the past. So move on past that. Now we're above current price, almost at 200, so let's just fill up these last levels, and then we should be good to go. So again, going from this level to this level. Whoops, it's not correct. Halfway point to fill up that large range. Remove. Another large range. Remove drawing. Which this range is still kind of wide. If you wanted to add another one, you really could. But in my examples, I always like to just fill up as much of the big ranges as I can, just so you don't have to worry about it. This is why I said this is one of the tedious ones. I would say Tesla, AMD, and maybe Nvidia are probably some of the harder ones to do. Maybe even Boeing, just because there's so many of these tedious ranges. But if you go through this enough, you'll notice every rule I've gone through is consistent. I'm never making up any special rule in between or any of that. It's always consistent. It's either an emerging candle or it's a halfway point that fills up the range of emerging candles. So there we go. We have every level we need. We can zoom out. You can see this is very clustered, but it's not for this time frame. It's for the 5 minute, for any smaller time frames that you guys like to enjoy. Scalpers, you're going to definitely want to be on the 1 or the 3 minute. Scalpers to slower day traders, you're definitely going to want to be on the 5 minute. And then what else is left, guys? What else do we need to add? That's right, the previous day high, the previous day close, the previous day open, the previous day low, and that's everything. And then, of course, the pre-market high, which that's basically marked in the pre-market low, which that's just right here. There we go. So very cluster of a day, as you can see today, but still very clean. As you can see, price did try to hold or break down through the first 10 minutes, which we do not trade the first 10 minutes. Then you can see we just kind of rejected that the pre-market low, got back above it, couldn't get back above the pre-market high, all the way broke down, could not break this bigger time frame level, so no break below. So the initial plan for today, if you were watching Tesla, was watching above the previous day high to reach the pre-market high, and if the pre-market high could break, you could start targeting further out levels, 178, 179.50, 180, 182.30s, and this would have helped you get some of those better breakouts to the upside, or a break under this bigger time frame level after the break of pre-market. So they did good breaking it, they just didn't get any follow-through. They broke it again, no follow-through, but essentially, initial plan was watching outside of these areas here. So you can see a good chunk of the yesterday's price action was there, and even most of today's price action is there, which you wouldn't know that beforehand, but it's still good to just kind of visualize it. And then you could see the previous day, which if we wanted to, we could just delete all these levels again. Hitting Control Z, by the way, to delete these a lot faster. So let's say I wanted to track this day. So we just go back to this day, previous day open, previous day high is basically marked, previous day close and previous day low are essentially the same thing. Pre-market low is about right here, and pre-market high is about... It's actually right here, so it's already pretty much marked. So essentially, the game plan before seeing this day open is, all right, we either watch above the previous day close and the previous day lows, and the pre-market high as well, so it's a combination of 3 areas now. Towards 170, above 170, you can target 174. Above 174, you can target 176. And then to the downside, the main plan was look under the pre-market low and the 161.80. So that would have been our game plan to the downside. As you can see, price ended up making a push in the first 5 minutes. Next 5 minutes, they ended up holding over, and nothing crazy volume-wise. There's good volume there, but there's always a good amount of volume in the morning for the most part. They end up holding, ding, 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 that bigger time frame level with the combination of the pre-market high, the previous day close, and the previous day low. They end up pushing back over it, holding over it again. So even if you didn't like it this time, they gave you a second chance here to potentially buy in again, which a lot of people get scared of these candles. But as long as this is holding support and has a decent amount of volume, this is actually a good candle as long as it's holding support. At resistance, that's when you can be scared of that candle with a good amount of volume. They end up holding there, picking up higher. breaking through 170, didn't have rising volume, but it did close over. So even if it didn't have rising volume, it's still a good sign because it does have base. So it's not as unstable as if it was its first time breaking through, if that makes sense. They ended up making it almost all the way to 174, and it looks like for the rest of the day they couldn't get back over. Hold up, I just messed up my chart. It looks like for the rest of the day they could not get back over 174, which, as you can see, this range would have been a good range to watch for another breakout going into the next day. So that can be a very helpful manner in in charting Tesla. Delete these levels. There we go. And so you're prepared now. So now going into tomorrow, I'll have basically, let's say price finishes like somewhere in this range, right? Tomorrow we'll be looking above 176.75, or we'll be looking under 170. And this will give us our initial range. This is why you always see me mention that. But like I said, though, be sure to drop a comment below a ticker that you want to see me do. If you don't see me ever pick up on it and do that ticker that you like, I promise if you comment it, I will eventually do a video on it with this setup. I think I'm going to do a lot more videos like this because a lot of you guys seem to be eating these up and enjoy some of the just kind of simple breakdowns on a single ticker one at a time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this content. Please leave a like and comment, and I will see you guys later on. Thank you for tuning in.